The elegant tea ceremony room was a sanctuary of hushed tradition, every polished surface reflecting the subdued light. For Wang Yibo's resonance harmonizer, however, it thrummed with a profound, almost oppressive silence. Seated opposite them was Xiao Zhan's father, Mr. Xiao, a man of formidable presence whose every gesture exuded quiet authority. His gaze, calm and unwavering, felt less like scrutiny and more like an impenetrable wall. Zhan, sensing the rising tension, squeezed Yibo's hand under the low table, his boundless empathy a frantic current trying to pierce the enigmatic aura of his own father. Mr. Xiao spoke little, his words precise and carefully chosen, but his silence was a symphony of unspoken questions. He poured the tea, his movements economical, and then, his eyes fixed on Yibo, he began his test. It wasn't a verbal challenge, it was an energetic one. Yibo's harmonizer, usually so keenly attuned to emotional frequencies, suddenly registered nothing. A cold, unnerving void opened, not in the room, but directly around Mr. Xiao, extending its silent tendrils to envelop Yibo. The first mind-blowing scene erupted within Yibo's own perception. The air around Mr. Xiao didn't just become still, it solidified into a shimmering, almost opaque, null resonance field, a visible distortion that absorbed all ambient emotional and sonic echoes. Yibo's echo syndrome was rendered useless, his internal world plunged into a terrifying quiet. He could see Zhan, physically present, but the vibrant, empathic link between them, usually a constant symphony, was severed. Zhan's emotions, his concern, his love, all were muffled, distant whispers Yibo could barely perceive. He was isolated, adrift in a silent sea, experiencing the profound solitude Zhan's father had inadvertently created. This was the ultimate trial, a test of Yibo's strength when his most fundamental power was neutralized. Zhan gasped, his own empathy struggling to break through the sudden, suffocating emotional barrier. He felt Yibo's desperate struggle, the cold dread of his isolation, and a flicker of anger towards his father. But Mr. Xiao remained impassive, his face a mask of serene calm, utterly unaware of the invisible, reality-bending test he had just unleashed. He was merely observing Yibo, quietly waiting. Yibo fought against the null resonance field, pushing his echo syndrome against it, trying to force a connection to Zhan, to the familiar hum of the world. But it was like trying to shout into a vacuum. Despair began to creep in, cold and insidious. Had he misjudged himself? Was his love truly dependent on his powers, on the ability to perceive and echo? He had faced down industry giants, cosmic chaos, and emotional phantom echoes, but this silent, impenetrable wall was more terrifying than anything. It was a confrontation with his own core vulnerability. He looked at Mr. Xiao, whose gaze still held that unreadable depth. And in that moment, Yibo understood. This wasn't a test of his power. It was a test of his truth. Mr. Xiao wasn't looking for a display of strength. He was looking for what lay beneath it. He was looking for the silent, unwavering heart that loved his son. Yibo closed his eyes, ignoring the frustrating silence in his harmonizer, ignoring the feeling of isolation. He had to connect, not with sound, but with pure, unadulterated intent. The second mind-blowing scene was an act of profound, empathic rebellion. Yibo channeled his echo syndrome, not outwards, but inwards, into the deepest wellspring of his love for Zhan. He focused on a memory, a moment so pure, so devoid of external influence, that its resonance was untraceable by any technology, any null field. He found it, a quiet afternoon, Zhan asleep on his shoulder, the soft light, the gentle rise and fall of his chest, and the overwhelming silent certainty in Yibo's heart that this was forever. He forged this memory, this pure, wordless feeling, into a single resonant heart echo, a silent, powerful vibration of unconditional love. He projected this heart echo, not with sound, but with pure, spiritual force, directly at the null resonance field surrounding Mr. Xiao. The field, designed to dampen all external frequencies, met something entirely internal, something so deeply personal it transcended its parameters. The shimmering, opaque null resonance field didn't just falter, it began to fracture, not with a crash, but with a silent, beautiful implosion of pure light. As it shattered, it revealed not the room, but a shimmering, ethereal memory mirage within its depths. This mirage was a mosaic of Mr. Xiao's own cherished, forgotten memories. A younger Mr. Xiao, holding a tiny, laughing Zhan in his arms, the profound love in his eyes, the silent promises he'd made to his son. This wasn't a projection from Yibo, It was a resonance from within Mr. Xiao himself, triggered by Yibo's heart echo, made visible, a mind-blowing, bittersweet glimpse into his hidden paternal affection. Mr. Xiao gasped, his serene composure utterly shattered. Tears welled in his eyes, a raw, profound emotion he hadn't shown in decades. He saw the memory mirage, the ghost of his own past love for his son, a profound truth revealed by a love he had sought to test. The null resonance field completely dissolved, leaving the air sparkling with a residual, benevolent energy. Zhan, his empathy now surging freely, felt the full force of his father's rediscovered love, his past fears and burdens melting away. He looked at Yibo, then at his father, his eyes brimming with overwhelming gratitude and boundless love. The climax arrived in the quiet after the revelation. Mr. Xiao, his face streaked with tears, slowly extended his hand, not in challenge, but in profound respect, towards Yibo. As their hands met, a powerful, unifying energy erupted. Their combined emotional frequencies, Yibo's resonant devotion, Zhan's boundless empathy, and Mr. Xiao's reawakened paternal love, didn't just merge. They coalesced into a shimmering, ethereal, family constellation that formed silently above their clasped hands. This constellation wasn't static. It pulsed with soft, intertwining lights, each star a silent, unbreakable promise of eternal connection, weaving their three souls into a single profound tapestry. The constellation didn't stay in the room. It pulsed outwards, a gentle, unseen current, flowing through the harmonized network. It was a new kind of anchor, a silent, profound broadcast of familial unity that touched every soul, a subtle balm that calmed discordant frequencies across the globe. The test was over. Wang Yibo had not defended Xiao Zhan with a grand display of power, but with the quiet, unwavering truth of his love. He had faced the silence, confronted his own fears, and in doing so, had healed a rift that transcended generations, proving that true love, in its purest form, could break through any barrier, even the most formidable walls of silence and tradition, to unite a family forever. The family constellation pulsed in the heavens, a permanent symbol of their unbreakable bond, a love understood beyond words. The family constellation, a luminous symbol of unity, pulsed softly in the heavens, a permanent fixture in a universe now more harmonious than ever. Xiao Zhan's father, his heart unburdened, looked at his son and Wang Yibo with a new, profound understanding. His sharp edges had softened, replaced by a quiet awe for the power of their love. The three of them had settled into a new, comfortable rhythm, their days filled with the quiet joys of a family finally whole. Their powers, once used for grand cosmic spectacles, had receded, becoming a gentle, subtle current that shaped their everyday reality, making their home a sanctuary of unwavering peace. But the world they had left behind was not so easily forgotten. The harmonized network, still humming with the afterglow of their cosmic acts, was a constant, subtle intrusion. It began to create phantom echoes of their past, not malicious, but seductive, trying to pull them back into the chaotic, glamorous life of fame. These echoes were not just memories. They were living, breathing temptations, offering a life of continued adoration and cosmic power. Yibo's echo syndrome, which he had learned to tune for peace, now picked up on these faint, siren calls, and he felt a familiar, uneasy pull. The first mind-blowing scene began in the quiet of their apartment. The sun streamed through the windows, but it was no longer just light. The future tapestry they had glimpsed was beginning to manifest physically. The ordinary light particles began to shimmer with golden hues, settling on the furniture and the floors with a gentle, loving resonance. A quiet morning was transformed into a breathtaking, mind-blowing display as the golden light from the tapestry settled on the very air they breathed, a direct, physical counter to the world's attempts to pull them back. The apartment was not just a home, it was a living canvas of their shared love, and every mundane moment was now a shimmering, beautiful spectacle. When Yibo walked their dog, Echo, the path behind them didn't just hold their footprints. It shimmered with a future echo of their laughter, a silent, glowing trail of their commitment to this quiet life. But the phantom echoes from the harmonized network grew stronger, more insistent. Yibo's echo syndrome, a perfect receiver for these temptations, began to show him glimpses of an alternate reality. He saw a version of himself still on stage, his harmonizer not humming with peace, but with the roar of a crowd, a life of endless adoration but profound isolation. He saw Zhan beside him, his empathy a brilliant, but weary, light, revered by millions but with no one to truly share his heart with. These echoes were powerful, emotionally compelling, and dangerously real. The conflict culminated in a powerful moment. Zhan, his empathy now feeling the collective yearning of the fans, a powerful, seductive force, felt the urge to return, to be the public figure they wanted him to be. The phantom echoes were almost too real, the temptation to return to a life of cosmic significance almost too great. But then, their dog, Echo, who had been sleeping at their feet, stirred and gave a soft, sleepy yawn, his body radiating a simple, profound contentment. He was not a phantom or a cosmic echo. He was a living, breathing testament to the life they had chosen. Yibo and Zhan looked at each other, a profound understanding passing between them. The future tapestry was not a predetermined path, it was a living choice they had to make every day. With a powerful, mind-blowing act of profound self-love, they used their combined powers to not fight the echoes, but to simply let them go. They absorbed the echoes of fame and glory, the yearning of the fans, the temptation of their past lives. And with a gentle, final act of will, they transmuted them. The chaotic, seductive energy of the phantom echoes didn't vanish. It was woven into a simple, beautiful, unbreaking, golden thread of love that bound their small family together, a physical manifestation of their commitment. The echoes of fame were gone. The world was quiet again. The future tapestry was no longer a vision, but a simple reality. The story ends with them knowing their greatest act of creation was not a grand, public spectacle, but a quiet, beautiful life built together, one day at a time, with their dog. Their love, once a public miracle, was now a quiet, private one, and in that quiet, it had found its true, unending power. The world settled back into its comfortable rhythm, but it was changed. The celestial auras and shimmering cityscapes faded, and the quantum echoes of the past dissolved like morning dew. Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan lived a quiet, ordinary life. Their powers, it seemed, were gone, absorbed into the world to keep it from unraveling. They were just two men, their hands clasped, their hearts beating as one, their greatest power now the simple, profound reality of their shared life. But a new, unforeseen challenge emerged, not from external forces, but from the very nature of their sacrifice. Their love, now the silent, invisible force anchoring reality, had become so deeply embedded in the cosmos that it was affecting the universe's natural order. The universe, in its impersonal, cosmic way, tried to find balance. It wasn't a malevolent force, but an unfeeling, inexorable law, and it was beginning to pull back the power it had been lent. To reclaim its balance, it was subtly, gently, and terrifyingly beginning to sever the very core of their connection, their memories of each other. The first mind-blowing scene was not a spectacle of light and sound, but a profound, silent erosion. It began with small things. One morning, Zhan reached for the memory of a shared laugh, a moment on a rooftop where Yibo had stumbled over a word. He found only a faint, emotional echo, a ghost of a feeling without a clear image. He tried to recall the specific way Yibo's face had looked in that moment, and the memory was a hazy, indistinct blur. Later, Yibo tried to recall the first time he had seen Zhan's famous radiant smile, and the image in his mind was blurry, its light gone. A cold dread, a more profound fear than any chaos they had ever faced, settled over them. The universe, in its quest for balance, was erasing their shared history. It wasn't taking their love, it was taking the memories that had built it, leaving an empty, beautiful void. The world outside is perfectly stable, but their inner world is slowly unraveling. The fear became a frantic, desperate urgency. They realized the universe didn't want to destroy their love, it simply wanted to re-establish the balance that their all-encompassing power had disrupted. The price of that power, it seemed, was a single, unifying anchor. They knew what they had to do. They had to find a different kind of anchor, a more sustainable one that didn't require the sacrifice of their very essence. They decided